This report is from today's CNBC Daily Open, our new, international markets newsletter. CNBC Daily Open brings investors up to speed on everything they need to know, no matter where they are. Like what you see, you can subscribe here. Winning Week U.S. Stocks capped off a winning week Friday, with all major indexes inching up slightly. Meanwhile, Treasury yields briefly dropped to their lowest level since September before bouncing up. Asia-Pacific markets mostly rose Monday. Japan's Nikkei 225 briefly touched a 33-year high before retreating into negative territory, while China's central bank kept 1-year and 5-year loan prime rates unchanged. Ouster at OpenAI. OpenAI's new CEO will be Emmett Shear, previously chief executive of Twitch, CNBC has confirmed. On Friday, former OpenAI CEO Sam Altman was abruptly ousted from the artificial intelligence company by the board of directors. It seems efforts by OpenAI investors, such as Microsoft, Tiger Global and Thrive Capital, pushing to bring Altman back as CEO didn't succeed. Musk's thermonuclear lawsuit. Apple, Disney and other companies have joined IBM in suspending their advertising campaigns on X, formerly known as Twitter. Their move was triggered by a report by Media Matters for America highlighting how corporate ads were displayed next to anti-Semitic content on X. In response, Musk threatened to file a thermonuclear lawsuit against Media Matters, sealing on U.S.-China tensions. U.S. President Joe Biden met Chinese President Xi Jinping on the sidelines of the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Conference last week. There were positive developments. Talks between the two militaries will resume and the two countries agree to establish intergovernmental dialogue on AI. The US and China are trying to put a ceiling on their tensions, said a risk analyst. Buy the Baba dip? Alibaba announced it was shelving plans to spin off and list its cloud computing arm. The reaction from investors was immediate. Hong Kong and US-listed shares of Alibaba tumbled around 10% last week. But some Wall Street's analysts think Alibaba's move was the right one that won't affect the attractiveness of Alibaba's shares. The positive vibrations from last week's cool inflation reports are dissipating, but you can still feel them, if you focus. It was in U.S. Treasuries that the positive sentiment was most palpable still. The 10-year yield, which tracks the market's expectations of where interest rates will end up in the long run, briefly traded at 4.379%. That's the lowest since September 20, signaling downward pressure on yields. Stocks had a more muted Friday. It almost seemed like markets refused to close the week on a bad note, so major indexes managed to eke out the most marginal gains. The S&P 500 added 0.13%. The Dow Jones Industrial Average squeezed out a 0.01% increase and the Nasdaq Composite notched a 0.08% gain. But when viewed on a weekly basis, movements of the indexes are much more impressive.